Right, guys, we'd like to welcome everybody to this board meeting for the Rockcastle County Board of Education. Normally, our monthly board meetings is the second Tuesday of each month. Well, tomorrow's election day, so we made the decision to move it till tonight. So this is actually a special called board meeting. With that being said, uh, we can only go by what the agenda says. So if anyone had any concerns or anything that needed to be brought up tonight, it would just have to be something that we would address at a different time. But I would like to welcome you all. Miss Carrie had just said that looking at all these faces, this is pre-COVID joy to see all of these students in one room, and this is why we're here. So we're very excited as a board, and I know the central office staff has to be gleaming inside also. So the first thing, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we have a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Let the roll call note that all members are present tonight. Item 1C is reading the board team commitments. Would anyone like to read those tonight? I can do that. I can, that's all right. Board team commitments for Rockcastle County Schools. To improve our effectiveness, the board team for Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other, and not surprise one another, discuss board deliberations to point of mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information, support the majority's decision projecting board unity toward shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning, operate without personal or political agendas, respect one another, agree to disagree respectfully, delegate implementation to superintendent and education team, and to respectfully remind each other of these commitments. Item 2 is adopt the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3 is our school and community showcase, and A is Miss Becky Smith. We want to welcome you in Mount Vernon Elementary.
We brought our SLP club with us today, and Miss Elena Taylor is the sponsor of that, and they prepared a presentation that they're going to share their projects with us.
Hello, like Miss Becky said, my name is Elena Taylor. I'm a fourth grade teacher at MVES. I also sponsor the fourth and fifth grade Student Technology Leadership Program Team, or STLP for short. When Miss Becky asked our team to share about the things this program is doing, I was really excited for everyone to be able to hear these kids and the hard work they've put on their level 1 projects. This is the first year in many that MVES has had an STLP team. Really, it's been revamped as a whole across the state. Like when I was a fourth grade student, like 17 years ago, we would stay after with Miss Becky Daughtery and get to use the air compressor cans and clean the computers, and that's about as far as that went. But now STLP really focuses on equipping skills with some great problem-solving skills to creatively solve problems. So tonight I have with me members of each of the 3 level 1 project presentations, pitches that they will be presenting to live STLP judges on the 16th. These kids have worked really hard to identify and address problems in our community and to creatively solve them while using the Kentucky Academic Standards for Technology as their just kind of like guiding factor, guiding piece. So again, we've not had a whole lot of opportunities to meet, so you guys are seeing this live for the first time. Me as well, so we bear with us. I do have members. We'll start with our team 1 first. So if I could have Beckham, Jasper, Abby, Reagan, Taylor, and Audrey. You guys could be in that order. It'll make it really easy to read. So Taylor, why don't you pop behind Audrey? Behind Reagan. There we go. so I'm going to hush and let you all hear from them. So the SCLP judges, on the 16th this is what they will see. So I'm gonna let Beckham go ahead and start.
To start our project, we brainstormed real-life issues that our community faces. Our team selected food security because it's important to us and our community. We care about our community and want to help those who may struggle to fill their pantry. In order to gauge the success of a project, we set goals and develop success criteria, with the goal to prevent less hunger in our community. We will know we are successful when there is greater awareness in our community about the issue, and we have increased the amount of food at our local food pantry.
To make our project stronger, we know it is best to collaborate with others. For our project, we will collaborate with community partners at Christian Appalachian Project and school partners like our Frisky coordinator, other educators, and of course our fellow students. To design our project, we worked to brainstorm how we can use technology to solve this problem. First, we will conduct research online using good sources. Then we will use Google Meet to interview adults for more information. After, we will make a video and create flyers on Canva to spread awareness at our school and promote the food drive. We then plan to 3D print fidget spinners for the homeroom who collects the most food. We will record the amount of food using Google Sheets and deliver to the local food pantry.
We want to utilize the best tools to complete our project. As a team, we plan to use different tech tools including YouTube, Google Apps, Canva, 3D printers, and a camera to record.
It is important to share about our project. We will use Google Classroom, announcement system, promotion video, and flyers to share with our school. To share with our community, we will use social media, the radio, and music.
Digital citizenship is important to our project so we can be safe and responsible in using technology. We vow to use these tools in a positive way. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Next with me, I have our team 2, who chose to address an environmental issue in our community. I have Carabella. You said you memorized yours, but do you want your note card?
Just in case. You never know.
Todd is. Sawyer, Bryant, Zane, Gilbert, and Addie McPheron. All right, guys, let's get us started. Here's their project, Stop the Littering Problem.
To start our project, we brainstormed real-life issues that impact our community. Our team decided to address the littering problem. Picking up litter and preventing it from happening is important to our team. Earth is our home, and we need to keep it clean.
To prove our project will be successful, we focus on goal setting and creating success criteria. Our goal, to stop people from littering and help the environment, will be accomplished when there is less litter on the ground and our school and community is cleaner.
We learned collaboration is important when making a project successful. We plan to collaborate with teachers at our school, the mayor of Mount Vernon, and our local pride organization. To begin our project, we will collect donation items for cleaning supplies. Then we will conduct an interview with local pride club on Google to learn more about this issue. Once we have collected the information, we will make a website for others to be more informed. We will also create flyers on Canva to post in public spaces. Lastly, we will schedule a time for a cleanup event with the help of volunteers.
We selected the best tools possible to complete our project. This includes using a variety of Google Apps, Canva, Chromebooks, video recorder, and color printers.
Our team wants to share our project with our school and community in powerful ways. With the help of our principal, we will make announcements. Our teachers will help us share our website, and our team will post flyers around the school. Then we will send our public service announcement to be shared through the Signal and social media platforms.
When working with technology, digital citizenship is so important. Our team vows to be careful and take care of the technology we use. We will stay focused and use our technology privileges responsibly. This wraps up our presentation. Thank you for listening.
All right, and for our last project that we are pitching, I have with me Liliana Asher, who is going to step up and read for some friends who did not come tonight. So you're gonna read this card. Right after that, I need Lincoln. You're gonna read that card, and you're gonna read Malia's part, and you're gonna read Jace's part, and you're gonna read your second part, and you're gonna read Keegan's second part. I'll help you out, okay? Okay. Team 3 decided to address bullying as an issue in our schools. I don't mean like an issue, but you know, it is school. We're always going to have some element of that, and so they brainstormed ways to make this more, just address this issue. So, Liliana.
Our project is titled Kindness Matters Stop Bullies. We know bullying brings people down and makes them unhappy. This project is important to us because we want all kids to make friends, feel included, and be happier at school. The goal for our project includes making a website that will allow for students to report bullying to our principals and counselors. We also want to successfully bring awareness to the issue of bullying. We will know we are successful when there are less office referrals for bullying and a large number of students use our website.
We know collaboration helps strengthen our project. To ensure we do our best, we will work with our school counselor, our principals, and mental health specialists. To complete our project, we will build a website to report bullying and bring answers to the issue. We will also create a QR code for our site. On the site, students can fill out a Google form that is sent to the principals. You and add that promotes ending bullying and other important information.
Choosing the right technology tool is important to help us reach our goals. We will use Google Sites, Google Forms, Canva, QR code generators, Chromebooks, and recording equipment. In order to tell the world about our project, we will put up posters up around the school. We will also share a link to our website with teachers so they can share it with their class.
The last important part of our project is to be a good digital citizen on the screen. You will see how we plan to be responsible, safe, and positive in the digital world.
All right, and that is our Team 3. So just before I turn it over to Miss Becky, what this is an elevator pitch that will be pushed to the STLP judges next week. If their projects are selected, one might be selected, all, none. It's a competition. We will actually, if it is selected, start working on making what they have planned a reality and prepare that for a state competition at Rep Arena in April. So please join me in just wishing these guys the best of luck. They've worked so hard.
Can we get a picture of all the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all just hold on to your cards.
You're not short. I am short.
She's preferably almost literally 3.
Look this way. I can see.
Oh, yay.
Elena, that's fourth and fifth grade, right? Yeah, so that's just fourth and fifth grade. So, they've been working, like she said, they haven't had a lot of time to meet, and, I'm relatively new, so I'm really glad they made me look good. They came, but, one of the things that we worked on today, we're kind of going through their projects, and that's the first time I saw them as well, but we worked on our PBIS matrix today. And so we came up with a hashtag for Mount Vernon, hashtag Mustang Pride. And so that's gonna be part of our stuff, because I know the middle school has rock, and Round Summit has, Eagle Soar, and so ours says Mustang Show Pride with perseverance, respect, integrity, discipline, and excellence. And that's what our teachers worked on today in their professional development, to what all that means. And then we're gonna start working next week with the students on that.
Thank you, Miss Pam. Thank you. It really is a joy when parents can come and bring their children. Thank you all so much.
You all were, students were amazing.
There's one I really am fond of a lot.
I have one too, I'm one of.
Yeah. We may be a little biased.
And Miss Elena, thank you for what you do and sponsoring them and
No problem.
working with them.
They're great.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you, Miss Elena. I say this every time we have children here, and I'm gonna say it again. It just makes these meetings so much better. Not that we don't like hearing from you guys. Oh, yeah. Okay, item 3B is Deco Architects is here to give us an update. Yay!
This is our other highlight.
This is the other highlight.
So sorry, we pulled a stunt here. We decided at the last minute we want to show you one other thing. That'll work. Perfect. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, so it's good to be back. Everything is progressing very nicely. We're deep into the guts of doing the drawings, which is a good thing. So you'll remember we're going to come to you. Thank you. We're going to come to you 3 major times. There's 3 major milestones, but then each month we come and just kind of hang out and show you things. This is milestone 2 of 3. So we're asking for your permission today to approve the design development drawings. So not a huge risk today. If there's anything unsettling or that you want to continue to iron out, that's okay, because we still have 3 of 3. But we want to approve 2 of 3 just so that we can upload it to KDE and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is kind of the track we're on, and we are on a track that the board reasonably approves of. There are a few components to this approval. One is the drawing set, and then there's a BG2, BG3, and then something called a SEPTED report. So there's 4 items. We're only seeking the 1 today. So in the eyes of KDE, this is all one submittal, but we need to break it down in parts just because of the way the process goes. So what we would like is to get approval for the design development, and that's the drawings we have here that we'll kind of show you today. And then once you approve that, assuming you do, we will release these drawings tonight to Codell, the construction manager, and they will get to work on an estimate. So the hope is that we can work through the estimate between now and your next board meeting, and then we'll come back and talk about that next month. The BG2 and the BG3, the 2 is called an outline spec, so that'll give us something to work on between now and next month. But that's basically a document where we go through and say, we're going to put this much insulation in the walls, we're going to put this much in the roof, it'll have this type of HVAC system, your water is city water, yada, 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 yada. And it's like a 3 or 4 page document that outlines kind of the mechanics of the building. And then we'll submit that to KDE. And then the other one is the BG3, is really an updated BG1, which is all the financials. So it will be an updated financial document that says the estimate is aligning with where we thought, or it's not aligning with where we thought, but here's the new estimate, and that'll be the second component. The last component is CPTED. CPTED is crime prevention through environmental design. We've touched on it briefly in the past and basically said, hey, look, we're thinking about that. But this will be the final document that proves, yeah, we actually designed in that manner. So long story short, after I've already said it the long way, we'll show the drawings tonight, and if you wonder why we're not doing the other three pieces, it's because we'll come back and pick those up next month. We need a little time. We need to get this package to Odell to let them do their bit. And then if all goes to plan and next month we get approved, we will take all those things, bundle them up, and send them to Frankfurt. And in the meantime, we'll keep trucking on the final submission, which will be the construction documents. So we're currently at 219 sheets of drawings, so it's a little difficult to present, but we can kind of grace through them just a bit. But these are all the fire ratings, so this is every assembly in the building and proving that the fire ratings work. This is and this will continue to develop, but this is our life safety, proving that the building is safe. It's like the first thing in the document. KDE used to require that water fountains were the first thing in the document. They wanted you to have a cover sheet, and then they wanted you to immediately prove that you had enough water fountains. But they removed that requirement, and now we can actually do life safety first. So we got our priorities a little better aligned. But this is life safety stuff, showing that that the building is safe and that firewalls are where they need to be. And this is beginning to be a phased plan of how we can phase the construction. That one's a little half-baked. And then we start on the site and the topography of the site and how the topography lays currently and how it's going to lay in the future, how the track can actually lay out. And we've had some major breakthroughs on the site in the past month, all positive. About trying to make it cost effective and preserving as much as possible, and then negotiating with the state for tapping into the road, and a lot of positive development. The structure has really fleshed out since we've ever presented. This is hot off the press today from the structural engineer, but basically all of the structure has been figured out. It's just a matter of detailing it to finish it. These are all foundations, and we don't want anyone in the room to bleed out of their eyes of boredom, but we just want to prove that it's here, and we're in a happy shape. So this is demolition plans. We're proving what gets demolished and what doesn't. So this should be kind of a fun sheet and showing the extent of demolition there. It's pretty hefty. Everything in red gets demolished, and then we're finally to the fun sheet. So at page 36, things get fun, and this is the new floor plan. So it's on script with everything we've discussed in the back, or previously discussed. There are a few evolutions that we haven't quite talked about yet, and let's see, can't do that. But if you look at the lower right-hand corner, not the little key, but to the left of that, you'll notice a new little floating building there. This plan is the basement, and we've since kind of figured out, hey, if we moved concessions and built a little standalone building, we could get restrooms that would service football and track, outdoor events. We could have a standalone concessions thing, and then if we pull it off the building, we can make a nice little gate between to help control traffic to sporting events, which might be a positive thing. We started to sort out fences and where fences can go, just to control those events better. And these are enlargements of those areas. We're beginning to get into finished plans. We're beginning to lay tiles out and think about what areas get what type of floor. We're getting there. The plans to prove it. But again, these are hard to present. There's 219 sheets of content. And all this is extracted from the model. So that model we present every month, it's all the same thing. This is being pulled out of that model. So we're not drawing these things per se. We are, but we're not. The bulk of the content is extracted from the model. Cafeteria. outsides. This is exterior as it stands currently. We're working on colors. We're having some conversations, and those things are evolving, but a lot of progress. This is the new concessions. One, and then proving kind of how this wall assembly will work. So we actually held an event at 3 o'clock to talk to staff about this project. It went okay. I thought it went well. At the end of it, I botched one question, and now I wish we went to Taco Bell and I thought about it. I really needed a Mexican pizza to really figure it out. But there was a question about, can we soundproof the band to protect the art room below it? And we'd already done it. And Chris was giving me an earful because I didn't answer the question well. But we worked those things out in this series of sheets here. So we already have the band room on isolation clips. That way the wall has air pockets in it to control that sound. We already had it.
We'll pass it on.
If you would.
Yes.
This is casework, so we're already drawing how all your casework will work. And then we get into kind of the real guts of the project, and this is your HVAC, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and it's all, for all intents and purposes, is worked out. Now we have detailing to do, we have specifications to write, we have a lot of work to do, but the core of this project is really starting to firm up, and we're proud of it on our end. So I know we're asking for something kind of impossible because I can't flip these sheets past you and ask you, to really form an opinion about the content, but we're asking permission that we're on a reasonable right track. Let us submit it to KDE so that we get in their queue. Let us put it out to Codell for pricing so that we can make sure that the budget is aligning with what we're doing and we're not leading you astray. That's the advantage of having a construction manager. That we can make sure. So we're asking your permission to allow us to do those things, and then around February, we will come back for the real approval, the final, that yes, you like this, and yes, we can put it out to bid for subs and get some ground broken when school lets out in May.
So when you send this to KDE, how long does it usually take them to respond back to you?
It's a good question. It depends on the reviewer. I can't speak for them, but usually we can get it the next board meeting, usually. Worst case, we'll skip one and we'll have it for the next one. With 529 bill, it made it easier.
They're going faster.
They're going faster. And it doesn't, for all intents and purposes, right now doesn't affect us because we're just going to keep going. We'll just have things working in tandem.
You mentioned there were some positive developments related to the site. I don't know if you can share that with us, or.
Yeah, happy to share. So Doug Gooch, the civil engineer, came over, walked the site with Mr. Clark. I think they had a really good meeting, and then Doug came to my office the next day and held a meeting with us. And a few breakthroughs. One was trying to preserve the visitors' seating and kind of preserving that, and then preventing the shift of the site any more than needed. And he was optimistic about preserving a good amount of the footprint of the site. So everything can be refreshed and brought back new, but we don't have to shift it as badly as we thought. There were also discussions about trying to preserve the embankment that you have, because we know it's a thing that you all do about sitting on that bank, and we actually think we can improve it. What we need to do to make the building work is we need to retain. So what we would like to do is retain and then have a slope, and then retain, have a slope, and we can kind of break that down and control the slope and make it a really nice place to sit and kind of preserve that concept. Also had some breakthroughs about access control in regards to the site. So we figured out access control on the building a while back, but the site has always been an open-ended problem of how can we prevent, folks in the middle of the day from parking in the parking lot and going down and walking and kind of intermingling with the kids. How can we control it in the evenings? And we've really figured the fence out. We haven't illustrated it all, but we kind of broke through last week. The concessions helped a lot by kind of creating a gate up top. And then we've also made some strides in working out the cafeteria delivery, because that road really affects how we deliver to that kitchen in the back. So previously, the concept was big loop. We'll have a big loop and it'll go up to the bus garage, and then it'll loop back down, and then it'll loop through the bus tunnel. And we've streamlined that quite a bit by really making a nice turnaround spot over at kind of the bus garage area. So there's a nice turnaround spot that can really work for tractor trailers when they're coming in the middle of the night to make milk deliveries. So we've worked through a lot of that, and then there have already been discussions with Division 8, the state highway department, about negotiating with them for tapping into the highway. So we don't have hard answers on those things, but typically we wouldn't even worry about that until a couple months later, and we already have that started, just to try to get ahead of it.
Geothermal, I know that was on the, have we had any results on that yet, or?
I know I hope that they will start drilling this week, and we should have that by the December meeting. December 1 is the date we're shooting for.
Looks like a lot of work.
Yes. It's hard to present it, but we're happy to share this. You can have this file. We're happy to share it. It came hot off the press, so we didn't get it in your agenda. I mean, a lot of this was today, and we assembled it, and you're seeing it for the first time. But we're happy to share it. You can review it, flip through it, but it's consistent with what we've presented because it's coming out of that model. And bugs remain, and we know it, but we're very happy with it. So far, so good.
Just curious, how many water fountains are there?
Oh, that's good.
You don't have to. You don't have to answer that.
Are they all gonna have bottle filler stations? My children would like to know.
All right, one last thing that we're gonna share. This is 90%. It's not 100%, but we wanted to show it. This is what we presented to some of the middle school faculty today. And a lot of this is old news to you. These are things we showed months ago, and we've moved on. But this is the latest, greatest floor plan. And, it's consistent with the track we've been on. The biggest thing that has evolved in the past couple months is we previously had 2 admin areas. We kind of had an admin area for principal, vice principal, support staff, etc., and like an administration wing, which makes sense. And then we had a second one that was for all of the resources. So your nurse, your counselors, those things, FML. And we got feedback that says, really, we shouldn't break those apart. We should put them all together into one centralized hub. That way it makes a lot of sense. So that's the biggest evolution. As far as everything else is pretty well on track with what we've been talking about for a while. This is the latest view of the building, and it's just styrofoam. But this shows the latest, greatest massing. So you see the new concession space here. You see how it creates a gate, and we can now control access. We think that's a positive. There's the latest, greatest view from the other side. Full transparency, like we've gotten serious about the bleachers now. In the past, we just said, let's show them a bunch of bleachers. But we've actually, thought, well, at some point we have to pay for these things, and we do need to define what they actually are. So we've gotten serious about the scale of those, actually counted seats. And then this has really shaped up, and we about have it by the tail. The biggest design thing we have to work out is this area right here. Maybe we can be a little smarter about this retaining wall. Maybe we can eliminate it and build the retaining into this space. But it's pretty well worked out and aligning with what the civil engineer is advising us. So we're optimistic about that. All these are old. You've seen them before, but then this one. So we're going to dolt on it just a little bit more, but we wanted you all to be our company Christmas card this year, if you are okay with that. So we're going to do like a dual-face Christmas card. It'll have a front and a back, and with you all on one side, Adair County on the other side. You are our kind of twin middle schools this year in our kind of trophy projects. we thought it was fun.
If it was only snowing, no,
You can guarantee Santa presents.
Yeah. Well, it was 78 degrees outside today, so I thought it was a good time to think about Christmas.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It all looks fabulous. It's mind-boggling, but it looks wonderful.
Thank you. It's a big deal. This is a big deal. We're very proud of it. We think it'll be great.
And in years to come, where do your children go to where?
Wayne County.
Well, years to come, when Rockcastle beats Wayne County in all these competitions, you can say, I helped design that school.
That'll be fun. I love my boys to come up here and get stoned. Thank you.
We really do appreciate you. It's always very exciting to see what you bring, so thank you for all your hard work and all your staff. Item 4 is operations and actions. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Carey?
I had a question. Miss Jenny, the bills to, no, never mind, this is financial report, sorry. No question.
I had one, I'm trying to find that. Maybe it was MindSpark. I was just curious to what that was.
Sure. So this is an opportunity that was brought to us from KEDC, the educational cooperative that we are a member of. And this is us partnering in a cohort. I think right now, as of Friday, there were 6 other districts that are going to participate. And our high school will be participating in this. They will create a team of 3 to 8 people. Mr. Thomas will take part in that team, and they will be working once a month with other districts and working on workforce development and post-secondary readiness. That's an area that Mr. Bussell has set for a goal of improvement at the high school. It's a direction that he wants to work on for this upcoming year. So this is just a way for them to have focused time, getting direction from a lead on how we can improve in that area. So really excited about that opportunity.
I was noticing the donation that Broadhead got. That's wonderful. Whoever your donor is, thank you. Out in the world, we like to see more. But thank you. That'll go a long way. So, any other questions? Need a motion to approve operations and actions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5A, review and approve the monthly financial report. Ms. Jenny, did you have anything specific that?
Mr. Hall, did you have a question?
My question, there were 3 documents this time, and I think normally there's one.
I think that those may be just broken out, just for ease to go to that document.
That's fine. I just.
So they're just broken out. The expenses report for Fund 1 and Fund 2 and revenue reports are broke out for you, just for ease. Do you have any questions? That time of year that we're starting to receive our revenues from local property taxes, and you'll notice some notes in regard to Fund 2. There was a large payment, and it was to InCare for our technology, and I've put a few notes in my board report for you about what expenses we've had to date, what has been reimbursed by USDA, and the remaining funds. So, but that's the reason you'll see a larger amount, expenses in Fund 2 for this month.
Need a motion to approve the monthly financial reports?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5B, review and approve the KETS first offer assistance.
It's just a standard run-of-the-mill KETS offer we get every year. This is the first offer. It's $29,980. We generally match it and just use it for recurring expenses, pay for Microsoft agreement and other. That's the way they like to sell software anymore. They like to sell it to you and they like to charge you every year. So pretty much that's what that money does.
Is that amount already in the budget? I mean, that we match?
so once we receive that, we transfer the funds to match the dollar for dollar from KETS and then submit that to the state for approval.
Need a motion to approve the CATS first
So
off.
moved.
Second. All in favor? Item 5C, review and approve the design and development for Rockcastle County Middle School project. That's what was presented to us tonight. I'm ready to get this show on the road.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Wonderful. Item 6A, review the superintendent's personnel action report.
Yes, it's busy report this month. If anybody has any questions, we've been very focused on trying to increase our number of classified and certified substitutes. I know you all have probably seen our Facebook post that we've shared trying to recruit additional substitutes. So we feel like we've been able to hire several people this month, so very thankful about that. It's just always busy time with coaches. It's this time of season with trying to hire new coaches and new assistants and get everybody in place. Anybody have any particular questions?
Item 7, department reports. We have those all submitted. Does anyone want to do any type of presentation from the different departments that are represented? We'd love to hear from you if you want.
I have asked Mr. Thomas
Okay.
to give us an update this
very
month
good.
on
Yes.
our assessment results. So that is uploaded, but I have asked him to touch on that for us.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, thank you. I'm sure you all are aware, the notes I've provided for you, just take a look at those. I have put in there the overall accountability scores for each one of our schools. I've also put on there a link to the Kentucky school report card, and maybe at your convenience, if you have more time to look at more specific information from the state, from the district for each one of our schools, I encourage you to do so. The next portion of that is next steps. And so mention on there that every school principal has submitted an action plan towards next steps of improvement that we would like to see at the school level and as a district. And just had some really good conversations with the data that we have and looking at both strengths and weaknesses of where we are. There's been a lot of conversation nationally and at the state level with test scores, and certainly we're not where we would like to be, but I'm excited. It's going to be a challenging process, as we all I think can agree on, but to see the progress that I feel like we're going to make, hopefully sooner than later, I'm excited for, and just applaud the efforts and work of our teachers, of our principals, of everyone that works in the school building and what they're doing to help close our learning gaps and get our kids where they need to be. So I'd love if you all have any questions, or if you'd like to have a conversation with me at any time, feel free.
Mr. Thomas, when I was looking at those scores, something that I felt very encouraged by was now we have a baseline. We know where we can build at, and since COVID, for the last however many years, we've just been, in an uproar, so we don't know if we are, if it's where we need to go. So I was very encouraged in knowing that we have that now, and I feel like, that we can tackle on different areas and focus on that.
I agree with that, Ms. Angie, and I think that's a good point. The Kentucky Education Commissioner, Dr. Glass, has publicly stated multiple times that COVID certainly had continued to have an impact on school in the year of 2021 and 22, and it has stated that we as a state have set a good baseline for what's to come. And when you start looking at numbers, and try not to overwhelm you all, but when you look at the consistent data, as a state, we do have some encouraging news. Kentucky matches up well with the rest of the country on the NAEP, which is the National Assessment for Educational Progress. And I think it's important to note too, with the ACT, again, another consistent test that we have in the United States, scores were down more so than they have been in the last 30 years. And so 42% of ACT test takers from 2022, they did not meet the benchmarks that were set for them. And Ms. Carey mentioned post-secondary readiness. That's one of our goals at the high school level. And again, it's just, there's consistency there. It's not just Rockcastle County, but it really is everywhere. So.
What percentage did you say, 42%?
Yeah, 42%.
We kind of fell in line with the state, didn't we? We were
Yes.
right there, right above, yeah. I noticed, do you think it fell this way it's always fallen, like reading was the best, probably math, and then science was like, dropped way down.
No, I agree with that too. That was, and again, the action plans that the principals created, one of the weaknesses that we've noticed district-wide is math.
Yeah.
We're lower in math than we are in the area of reading, so we're looking at interventions and strategies that we can help increase.
And programs just like the STLP and I think in the STEM that we have in the middle school. Of course, that's my passion, as I always say.
I've been on this board for a while, and I've heard, and please don't take any disrespect, I've heard about math scores for the 19 years that I've been on this board, and how it's always so much lower. And and that's just not in Rockcastle County, that's throughout the country. So I guess my question is, what type of interventions are we going to do to change this? Because I think we're taking small steps. Don't get me wrong, but maybe is there something more on a drastic end that we need to do as far as pushing more?
I think you're going to find more help from the state this time too, and Dr. Glass I think is really on top of it. I think that's my personal opinion from what I've read. That's what I hope, that we have some backing more than we normally do.
I think there's some really good conversation going on. I mean, I know there is in our district, and to your point, Ms. Angie, at the state level too. I think the content area of math, it's more so a part of the conversation and being pushed to the forefront. And honestly, we've had discussions in the past at looking at what are some really good math interventions that are out there. And compared to reading, there's just not the same amount. So, but at our district, we're going to take steps like, how much time are we putting into math compared to the other subject areas? We have some good data tools that we're going to continue to monitor throughout the year and look at our assessments. And so,
are you all able, in the data that you get, to break it down by standard and see where we're underperforming? Are there commonalities that, especially on the middle or the elementary schools, like standard 1 point, and I don't know the standards for elementary, but we're struggling with multiplication or something? Is there anything that's common between the elementaries, or is it?
Well, about the data tools that we have, Rockcastle is an I-ready district, and so all of our schools try to use that program really on a daily basis. And one of the resources that I-ready offers is standards mastery, to where students can take an assessment and it really breaks it down to see whether they have mastered, partially mastered, or did not master. And so teachers have so much at their hands. It's just becoming familiar with it and being able to use it in the classroom.
And one thing that we're doing district-wide that we started last year and we're really focusing on is making certain that what we are teaching is standards-based. And we're speaking that language daily, and teachers are talking that language. Principals are having those conversations in our PLCs, because now we have those tools that we can determine which students are progressing in what standards. And if they're not, then we're able to very intentionally target those students with the intervention. So I feel like that focus, you ask, like, what are we doing? I think that alone, of making sure that we're teaching grade level standards and that we're focusing on increasing our tier 1 program, the program that every student receives, because no one can ever, you cannot RTI or you cannot intervention yourself out of a hole. It has to be a tier 1 approach where all students are receiving strong standards-based instruction. So that's what we're focusing on, is what are we doing for the entirety of the group, not just focusing on intervention.
Is there, I know we have the literacy grant, all those, is there a lot out there from the math too?
There is not, but we're seeking, we're working with our educational cooperatives and
But isn't there
everything that
grants
comes
for,
our
like, summer
way.
programs that we could apply for? Like even summer camps for math?
Not that I'm aware of right off, but one thing that we are interested in doing, you know, we have just started our Save the Children programming, focusing on literacy. This is our first year of this, and we're progress monitoring that, and if that goes well, then we have the potential to expand next year to a math focus. So that would include interventionists, just like we have the math interventionists, or the reading interventionists at the elementary levels, we would then move forward to providing math interventionists as well.
And at the elementary level, you know, in the last couple of years, while all of this has been going on, we've got a brand new math curriculum. So, I mean, that's something else that our teachers have had to become accustomed to. We're continuing to provide resources and training on that. I've been in contact with the iReady company that provides the Ready Math curriculum. And so they're going to be coming to our district and having in-person time with our teachers. I think that's going to be really important as well.
Have we ever correlated our ACT math scores to this one, the summative assessment scores? How are those correlated? I don't know that we've ever even done that or have to do that.
No, I don't want to speak for you, Mr. Thomas,
No,
sorry.
I would say as far as that correlation, there's probably not a whole lot compared to KSA.
Just curious how they fell in line.
Yeah.
I know ACT's kind of not on the table much right now, but I was just curious for our high school students.
One thing I'd say about math, and this is, I had an interaction with a student who's not in our district, but who's in 6th grade, but they had been told their math was on a 2nd grade level. And I think there's an awful lot of that going on across the state and probably here too. And we see that's why your middle and high school scores are always lower than your elementaries, because you can, in 5th grade, you can get by in math with 2nd grade math, but by 8th grade and 10th grade, you can. And so I think those early interventions and making sure that those students can do multiplication, division, the basic stuff. And this student, after the 3s, couldn't divide. Well, I mean, you're not going to do well in math. And so that's my perception and again, outside our district, and has nothing to do with us, except as I was talking to this family, it felt to me like there's probably dozens of children in our district probably in the same boat, I would assume. So
Well, and so with that, you know, again, with some of the resources that we have and kind of our plans as a district, trying to track and to monitor that information throughout the year, so that when it comes this spring and we take the KSA, you know, and we get our scores back next fall, it's not going to be a big surprise.
Right.
I mean, we are to have a really good idea of where our students are performing well before then.
And just with the iReady, is that something we can pick apart even further for the parents? Because I know it can be, and I know I've seen like my son, whatever he's above 5th grade or whatever he was. I don't know if you've looked at the iReady. Does it come from middle school too? Do we get it? I didn't know if that's something we could focus on too. Say your child needs this, or the teachers may already do that. I assume they look at each child.
I think that's what our schools at this time they're trying to
Need to do.
Is trying to kind of bridge that gap between the schools and parents as far as, you know, what the dialogue and what the vocabulary of iReady is and what this score means.
And I agree. I think that's a good tool if we can just, like you said, bridge it between the teacher and the parent, because we don't quite understand it as a parent as much. I think that is a good idea.
Already uses that technology to give them that. So it suggests, it puts the student where they need to be and puts them in progress to make those scores go.
Yeah.
I think the sad scenario here is this though. You have a lot of parents that could care less about iReady anything. So it's going to be hard to get them to come on board to care about their child's iReady scores when, you know, that's my feeling. But I would like to say, which Miss Becky, this reflects on you now, we had the parent-teacher conferences a few weeks ago. And, you know, I've had now 3 children to go through Mount Vernon Elementary, and I've always had the highest respect for all of your staff over there, and just the personal teachers that I've dealt with over the years that have always reached out in a very caring way to explain to me okay, your child needs to do this, this, and this, or they have done this well, or, so I do want my reflection of what I said to go back to. I commend our teachers. They're doing excellent jobs, but now I love math, so I think everybody should love math.
And it's hard.
Maybe we need to have a math camp, like you said, and, dress up like numbers.
Well, it's not as flowery as reading, it's not the
But
thing.
math
you
is
get lost in
precise.
it. Yeah.
Reading, you can look at things differently. Math is precise. There's a difference.
And it can get frustrating really
Sure.
easy. Yeah. But no, I know there's more to iReady that we can really, I think, and yeah, we got it, we have to use it, it's not perfect.
I don't think our kids take iReady seriously. They just get through it.
I think that's why we need to make it, we
I
got it,
do, I
promote it.
think they just get through it, cause they know it has to get done.
Yeah, some of the older kids.
IXL too, which of course we're an already district, but IXL breaks it down by learning target.
Yes.
So you're talking about multiplication tables, it's like here's your fours.
But you have to ask for that, I think, it's nothing that we, you get the synopsis, I guess, as far as a parent, right?
You can actually log into a student's IXL, or have them log in and it'll tell it to you.
And the iReady, is it the same way?
IXL do that because that's the high school uses that a lot.
Yeah, the iReady at the elementary level, can you do that? Do we have logins for parents?
No, but the student can log in and it'll tell them where they are.
And
Like, this is what you're good at, this is what you need to work on.
Okay, so we could log in as the student at home, and that might be just something we have to push out there to the parents. I did not know that, to be honest.
The report that we got told us like.
It tells you the general.
The different areas.
I think you can break it down like he's saying to like what your child.
specific.
Yeah, very specific, and anything, not just math. I think it does it in
How
reading
many
too.
interventionists do we have for math in the elementary schools right now that are?
We
don't have
any
none
math
at all.
interventionists, no.
AmeriCorps will let them tutor in third, fourth, and fifth grade. And so Nick and I actually just got AmeriCorps workers. I mean, they're not working yet, but they're getting all their paperwork done to get their stuff in for us to be able to do that. And we're gonna really work with small groups, like I was small, but to kind of help a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the things we did at Mount Vernon today is we took the fall diagnostic test and we made old-fashioned data charts, data wall for kindergarten through fifth grade with percentile, and each teacher, you're welcome to come and look at it because it's pretty awesome, I just want to say. I mean, it was a lot of work, but each teacher took their homeroom for math and reading, and they created, based on that percentile, they made a dot. We used yard sale dots, those colored dots that you put on a card for the percentile, and we've got K all the way across through 5, and they can see where we're gonna use their progress checks, the winter diagnostic, and their progress checks every month to move those kids. And then they're gonna take that data each month and regroup in their small groups and use our instructional assistants and our AmeriCorps workers to help provide targeted small group, not necessarily intervention, just small group instruction during that tier 1 time to help students progress in reading and in math.
And I'm gonna say something unpopular. I think our children need challenged a lot. I don't know that we're challenging them enough. We gotta get to a certain place, but we need to go, I think, above that too. Cause a lot of them can do it.
They can't add 2 + 2.
I know, but I think you do need to
can't
challenge them in other
to-
ways.
Yeah, oh, I agree, yes.
And that's probably more the higher levels, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I think they need challenged.
So we've met with each principal has developed an action plan for their school. They've used their leadership team within their building to develop that plan. And then we're following up with them on how they're progressing on implementing their action plan. They've set goals for their school, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the work that the high school is going to be moving towards doing post-secondary readiness. I think we know what we need to do, and it's very achievable. So I think that I'm ready for next year's test results already, because I feel like we're just going to really move forward. I'm expecting us to be, all green, some blues, because we know what we have to do, and we've got plans in place to do it.
Well, it's nice to know where you're at, so you know where you want to go. Everybody's been going blind 2 years.
And I think, test scores are important and they do matter, but at the end of the day, they're one piece, and we know there's other great things going on. So we don't wanna, I don't wanna harp too much on test scores, but they are important and they do matter, and so try to keep all those things in perspective, so. Appreciate you
I'm
and your
glad
work
you
on
said
that.
that, Mr. Colleton. One thing I wanted to comment on, and this triggered my thought, was our schools, there's a new aspect of the state testing this year that's focused on climate and culture. And we were green in that, which means kids wanna come to school and teachers wanna be there, is basically what that boils down to. And that is, that's meaningful. You know, that speaks volumes to our schools, it speaks volumes to our principals and our teachers and food service staff. That takes a village. You know, if kids wake up and wanna come to school, that's half the battle. So I was, you know, as proud of that as anything that those test scores showed us.
And these extracurriculars like Mount Vernon's doing, I hope we can eventually do it with all the elementaries. And I know the middle school's doing more.
And Roundstone.
Like mathathons, that's another, I was thinking when we were talking about math, like that's, you know, math club, I don't know if that's a thing anywhere, but.
We're the only nerds.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's kids out there who would love it, love it.
Roundstone has their club day now. Yeah.
Roundstone has started a club day once a month.
Yes,
that's
where
great.
all their kids during the day can go to different places. They have friendship clubs and they have.
Get them prepared and they get along.
which
You
I'm
just-
open with.
They learn that that's fun, but they have to get the basis in class in order to do that, so that just is another way to teach.
All the schools.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Thomas, thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing what you guys say next year. You can talk between now and then, though. I mean,
Well, and so I'll say this, I know that I'm the instruction person, but just to kind of add to these last points here, you know, the first note I had on my paper was, you know, the data tells us that having our students in school and in front of their teachers is so vital. It's so important. So, I mean, certainly, you know, the test scores that we have, I mean, that's one piece to the puzzle. But,
One of the pillars of our vision is students love learning. And I think we've got to stay with that, and that helps Mr. Repert not get grilled about attendance, and it helps test scores, helps everything. And so the extent we can do that and improve the learning, but also make them want to be there and love what they're doing, that's really, really critical. And that we've got to figure out as a whole education system, how do we do that throughout the grades? I think elementary's historically done a real good job of that. It drops off as they get older, but how do we have 10th and 11th graders and 12th graders that like coming to school, like learning? And that's a statewide, nationwide problem, but I think that's really the key to solving the whole issue. So if y'all can figure that out and write a book about it, we'll buy some copies.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything for department reports you want to share?
I've seen some good news.
Yes. Checks in the mail. FEMA.
I was gonna ask.
We,
It was in her.
about, I think it was $74,000. But we have put in our first appeal to, the denial for an additional $119,000. And we feel confident that the work we did, in our schools, all of these departments, the efforts we put forth are duly noted to be supported by those funds. So they'll have to tell us no again, but, we did receive good news that they did see merit to, fund a portion of our request.
Ms. Carey, do you have anything extra?
I just wanted to remind you all that this Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we have our App Harvest announcement and grand opening at 1 o'clock in the back. It will be beside the container farm, so if any of you all could be there, we would love to have you there. The governor and Rocky Atkins are both on the agenda. We've gotten word that we're not sure the governor will be there, but we know Rocky will be there for sure. So if you all are able to make it, we would love to have you there. 1 o'clock on Wednesday.
Board comments before I give you all a chance. Ms. Carey, I'd asked Miss Jenny if she didn't care to maybe get us some refreshments and stuff. It's not very often that you get a public of anybody saying thank you. And, we just, as a board, we had talked and we just thought that we just wanted to express how much we appreciate you. And we got you a little something.
Oh, thank you. It is a surprise. Jenny, you tricked me.
Just to let you know, we had planned on doing this tomorrow night, and your other principals were gonna be here, but since you decided to change this to Monday night, you did this to yourself.
You should have told me. It's in our district.
But,
Told me.
Mr. Nick, you wanna come up?
Sure. Sure, no problem.
It's Becky, she's here, but I'd asked Mr. Nick, he's got a little envelope with some stuff he wants to give you, Miss Carrie.
Y'all are gonna make me cry.
Well, that's
So
okay.
these, Miss Melissa Neely's class, they've been learning about the program Canva and their library media specialist. So, we've had some broadhead students, 3rd through 5th grade, design you some cards and stuff in there. But just to piggyback off with what Miss Angie said there, you know, you spend a lot of time always praising our students, praising our staff, praising our schools, but you also deserve recognition. You know, when you took over as superintendent, I can't imagine how difficult the decisions that you had to make, and you've always been incredibly supportive of all of us, and you always have a high level of integrity and willing to dive in and make the hard decisions, and we just all appreciate you so much and the support that you've shown. You're not only a wonderful leader for Rockcastle County Schools, but our entire community. You have a huge impact on Rockcastle County as a whole, and we just greatly appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Make me cry.
Thank you.
And, this right here, Mr. Chris, I think they brought you some pictures, wrote you some, they might even gave a recipe or something. And then Miss Becky's, students come to see you tonight, so you got to see Mount Vernon. And then this was made by our skills team for you. And, at the very top, it's got a B on top of the tree for Ballinger, and that will go beautifully on your barn.
Thank you so much. Stand there and like
But we appreciate it.
Thank you.
You want in this?
No.
I wanted to read you this. I got you a little card, I wanna read it out loud, okay? I just like, Miss Carrie, we really appreciate everything that you do for the families in Rockcastle County. Your leadership continues to shine in a very dark world. We are confident that you will keep leading us to bigger and brighter things. After all, rocket learners, rocket leaders. And, I just want you to know that you are respected, you are appreciated, and you're loved by us. And thank you for being a friend. And I put all of us down here, and we are your cheerleaders. We are, as board members, we are here to support you because you love Rockcastle County students, and that's.
I do. Thank you.
But you can hit James in the head with that if you want, you know. But you've done a remarkably wonderful job at a time that the expectations didn't have to be, and you far exceeded everything that I thought, so thank you very much.
Thank you for saying that, and I tell people every day, you know, people say to me, oh, you have the hardest job, or you have the worst job, and I never think of it that way. I think I have the best job in the world, and I wake up every single day and want to come to work, and there's never a time, no matter what's happening in the district, or what's happening in the state, or on the national level, that I just don't think how blessed I am to be here. And I love what I do. I love you all. I love our kids. I love our community and schools. And, you know, without this team right here, and without our teachers and our principals, you know, my job is meaningless. They're the real heroes. I mean, they just are the workers, and we're blessed. I travel all over the state. I see what's happening in other districts, and I'm always glad to come home because we are so blessed with what we have right here. Thank you all. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you did surprise me, Miss Jenny. That text, I was like, wow.
Yes, thank you, Miss Jenny. She's got us some refreshments. You know, I knew Miss Carrie would say what she did, reflecting back on her team, and that is the #1 reflection of a good leader. That's at the top. If you are a good leader, you are going to praise them before you take the praise. So once again, I was right in saying that listen, you do an excellent job, and I know that you do far more than what we see every day when it comes to dealing with children that are in a need that we don't understand. So it's easy for us as a board to sit back and to say, why is our math scores not higher, or why is this not happening here? That's an easy thing for us to say, when the reality of it is, there's poverty, there is affliction, there's addiction. We have a lot of issues in our community. So, but I also think that you have done an excellent job putting people in places that you needed them to be in. So, but thank you for your hard work.
I appreciate all those kind words. I don't feel deserving of that at all. I just come to work and love what I do.
But I am confident that when you start going through those little cards, you're going to love that. It may be, if you have a bad day, you might could open them up and look at them.
I keep things in a drawer in my office and do that. If you needed just some encouragement, I always pull it out and read it. So I'll have to read those alone tonight, though, because I'll get emotional. Thank you all very much.
Matt, did you have anything?
Well, I just want to say, it seems like every week, at least once a week, there's something online about how good our students are doing at something. So football and cheerleading and FFA agronomy team, and that's the things I can think of in the last 10 days, and that's really, really impressive. So now there's a lot of people that put a lot into that, teachers and administrators, and so that's really wonderful. And bus drivers to get them to those places.
Sure, that's right.
And parents, for sure.
Yeah, and our food service staff to feed them. It takes a village.
That's what I was going to say. Truly, there's been a lot going on, a lot of positives. So yeah, we have a great district.
Just to kind of go along with what everyone's saying is, I'm not a numbers person, but we need those people in the world. My niche would be the emotional well-being of a child. And when I was at Roundstone a few weeks ago, and just if you look at the holistic approach of what the school is doing for a child, and just like when they come through the lunch line, I mean, the principal, like all the kids running up and giving him a hug. And I was able to sit into one of the, not the preschool, but the kindergarten classes. And they did a little drill if like a bad person come. And I would want my child to be in that class, like safety. So like if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of all the things on the bottom to get the test scores that we need, there's a lot of bottom work to do. For kids to be safe and to feel safe and to feel loved and to feel secure. And I truly believe that the videos that I've done, like Rockcastle schools, you're doing that. And I think as long as you stay on that foundation, the test score, they're gonna come, and there's been a lot of transition. There's been, you've made it through COVID. So I can't imagine in the next few years what's gonna happen here. And I've seen all the good news too, and I love there was a post with a high school student, and the leader took them to a place where this student has, it's her passion and something she desires to do, and the teacher took her to that. And so like just reaching out to the individual, like all kids have gifts, no matter what they play or what they do, like every student has a gift and a purpose. And so it's beautiful to watch these leaders reach out to these kids and pull that. So I'm very proud to be a part, and I won't go on about Carrie. I think she's done a fantastic job, and I want to appreciate not only what she's done for the school, but as a board member, one of the things that we asked was to see more of the schools and students, just trying to bridge that gap, and she's done that and welcoming the students and the principals and things in. So I see great things happening for Rockcastle, and I'm super proud to be part of it.
Nope. Thank you all. Well, with nothing else, do you want to talk about this another time? You want to just do it quietly?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to be nervous.
Okay. You want to? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Appreciate all of you. Miss Jeannie, I think, has got us some treats back there, and thank you, Miss Jeannie.
Thank you.
special cook we have in the district.
Yay. Well, with that, let's all get our bellies full. I would like to say, because we probably will not be congregating again until Thanksgiving, that my prayers is that your families are blessed, that we are very blessed people. God has blessed us richly, and I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about friendships and families and our community. And I know that there's a lot of things that can be done still, but I think we are growing and we're moving in the right direction. So happy Thanksgiving to your families for me. And need a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All right, so we done. All in favor?